Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a huge question for anyone approaching retirement in Singapore. Should you defer your CPF life payouts? Common wisdom says yes, wait for the bigger paycheck. But when you actually run the numbers, well, the story gets a lot more interesting.
So let's get right into it. Picture this, for a man who meets the full retirement sum, when he hits 65, he has a choice. He can start getting about $1,750 a month right away, or he can wait 5 years until he's 70 and get a much fatter payout of around $2,370 a month. That's a 35% jump for the rest of his life.
I mean, it seems like a total no-brainer, right? If you've got other income and you don't really need the cash at 65, why on earth wouldn't you wait for the bigger payout? But as we're about to see, the answer is not nearly that simple.
Okay, so let's break this down. The first thing most people look at, the most common way to compare these two paths, is something called the break-even point. This is all about figuring out at what age waiting finally starts to pay off.
And you can see it right here in the numbers. If you start at 65, you get a massive head start. By the time you're 70, you've already pocketed $105,000. Meanwhile, the person who deferred has received zero. But then their bigger monthly check starts to chip away at that lead, year after year.
And there it is, age 84. That's the magic number. That's the crossover point where the total cash you've received from deferring finally overtakes the total cash from starting early. So if you live past 84, deferring wins. At least on paper.
So based on this simple math, your decision is basically a bet on how long you're going to live. But hold on. This entire calculation, this whole break-even idea, is built on one giant, and honestly kind of flawed, assumption that the money you could have taken from 65 to 70 does absolutely nothing. And that brings us to the real heart of this whole thing, the concept that completely changes the game. We need to talk about opportunity cost. Right? Opportunity cost. It's a simple idea, really. What else could you be doing with that money? We're talking about that $105,000 you get between 65 and 70. Instead of just letting it not exist, what if you took it and put it to work? Think about it. The very fact that you can afford to defer your payouts means you don't need that cash for your daily life. It's spare cash. So what if, instead of forgoing it, you take it and invest it? This completely reframes the decision. It's not just about waiting for more, it's about what you do with the money you can get now. So let's play this out. Let's look at this whole other strategy. Instead of leaving that money with a CPF board to grow for 5 years, what happens when you take control of it and invest it yourself? Here's the plan. You take the $21,000 you get each year from age 65 up to 69 and you invest it. The math shows that if you can get a pretty reasonable annual return, say around 6.25%, by the time you hit your 70th birthday, you will have built up a portfolio worth about $119,000. Okay, so now you're 70. You have this investment pot of nearly 120 grand. If that pot keeps earning that same 6.25%, it can spin off about $620 a month in passive income. Now, add that to your original CPF payout, the $1,750 you started taking at 65. What do you get? Yep, $2,370 a month, the exact same monthly income as the deferred option. So hold on a second. If you end up with the same monthly cash flow from age 70 onwards either way, what's the difference? Why go through all this trouble? Well, the difference is huge. It's actually the whole point, and it's all about what happens beyond your monthly income. Let's jump forward in time. You're 85. In both scenarios, you're getting that same $2,370 a month. Life is good, but here's the kicker. With the Invest Early strategy, you also have that $119,000 asset. It's your money. You can use it, you can spend it, you can leave it to your kids. With the Deferred CPF Life Plan, that capital, it's just gone. It was used to create your higher income stream, but there's nothing left to pass on. And hey, it's worth pointing out, this strategy works for women too. The numbers are a little different because of longer life expectancies, so the payouts start a bit lower. But what's really interesting is that this actually makes the math even easier. The investment return you need to make this work drops to just under 6%.
So you see, this isn't really a question of just getting the biggest possible check every month. The real question is much deeper. It's a strategic choice about what you want your money to do. Is your goal purely to maximize your own guaranteed income for life? Or is it to have that same income, but also build a real, tangible asset that you control, a legacy you can leave behind? The math forces you to really think about the true purpose of your wealth.